Okay, I just found out about this today, which I found a little disturbing, but and again, not expected. A motion to be heard is a formal request for a judge to schedule a date and listen to arguments regarding a specific legal issue. This procedure requires you to file a written motion, select a court date, provide formal notice of motion to the opposing party, and appear at the courthouse. To get your motion on court's calendar and present it effectively, follow these actionable steps. Draft the motion and notice. Clearly state exactly what are you asking the judge to do, e.g. dismiss the case or compel discovery, and why. And that's what I want to do. Just have the case dismissed, if not to compel discovery. And that's the whole point. The landlord doesn't want to fix anything because it costs money. The plumbing has to replace, the wiring. I was already told this. That's why the last person sold the building and this guy bought it, and he didn't like it that I was telling him that he had to fix all this. He said that was on the last landlord, and I told him, no, you bought the building, you bought the problems. It's in disclosure law for realty. Look it up. It's on the net. When you bought the building, you bought the problems that come with it, and you and the past landlord were supposed to come up with a plan and a schedule when all this was supposed to be fixed, and then inform all your tenants, because your tenants' disclosure rights required you to disclose anything that may be detrimental to their health, like faulty wiring, bad plumbing where it keeps backing up and black mold growing up out of it, multiple water leaks here, there, everywhere, and covering it up with paint just simply will not suffice. The different colors in the water, rust coming out the pipes, and then some black stuff, black mold coming up through the drains. So the landlord didn't believe me, and I told him, talk to your attorney. He said he didn't know. And I said, well, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Ask your attorney, your counselor, your advisor. So your attorney is legally required to let you know this. So he quit talking to me. The lawyer called me. He was upset, and he said he was going to evict me. First, it was on not paying the rent. Then they put me in an early resolution program, the ERP. And those were lawyers, basically arbitrators, that were going to convince me to see it the landlord's way and the judge's way, because the judge is mad because you dragged her into court. Never heard from the ERP, because I told him I had this conversation, not with just this landlord, the previous landlord and the landlord before that, about these repairs that had to be made, and nobody made them. Everybody was neglecting them. Who advised these people to sell the building before they had to make these repairs? I mean, that's illegal. That's illegal. They conspired to deprive me of habitable living conditions, drinkable water, living in a building without worrying about electrical fire. The bathroom ceiling nearly caved in on me. They waited till it was just about to fall before they actually did something. That took a couple years. And I couldn't move because of an eviction that I had before I came here. And that eviction was to prevent me from moving, because I was moving. I already had all my stuff in storage. I was just looking for a place to move to. And that knucklehead put an eviction because they wanted me to do some more remodeling, and I refused because they owed me money and didn't pay me for the materials from what I already put up there. So they evicted me, went to court, told the judge why I was moving. I would have moved if they hadn't put this eviction, and they put this eviction to keep me from moving so I would do these other things for them. So the judge thought it ridiculous taking me to eviction court to evict me when I was moving. I had my things in storage, and I was just looking for a place to move to. And because he didn't remove the eviction notice, I got stuck here. This was the cheapest place I could find because they wanted only 4-month security deposits when 2 others wanted 6 months and a couple others wanted 1 year security deposit because of a wrongful eviction. It was just legal harassment, which is illegal. It's in the preamble of the Code of Judicial Conduct, as well as the right to be heard. The right to be heard The right to be heard is a cornerstone of due process. It guarantees that individual and legal entities have the opportunity to present evidence, arguments, and their side of the story before a judge or tribunal makes a decision that affects their rights, liberty, and property. Okay. Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment, due process clauses. Shares fairness through several specific protections. Okay. Right here. Rule 2.6, ensuring the right to be heard. Judge shall accord every person who has a legal interest in proceeding or that person's lawyer the right to be heard according to the law. A judge may encourage parties in a proceeding and their lawyers to settle matters in a dispute, but shall not act in a manner that coerces any party into a settlement. So I had the right to be heard. And the judge denied me that from the very beginning. Pushed me into the early resolution program, which are arbitrators or mediators, and they're just lawyers, and they want to convince me just to go along with what the judge wants. And the judge wants what that lawyer wants, and he wants me just to walk away, and he wants to keep my security deposit. But ain't that a whole lot of horse shit? So I'm going to file this motion to be heard. Kind of crazy. You have a constitutional right to be heard, but ain't nobody going to hear you unless you file a motion. Talking about the hypocrisy in democracy. They took an oath to see to it that you have the right to be heard, and they didn't fulfill that oath. Denying you the right to be heard is denying you a constitutional right, stated in the 5th and 14th Amendment, due process. I'm telling you, these courts are so screwed up. And then they send me, I'm never notified about anything. I got to keep going to the court to find out when my next court date is. It clearly said, watch your mail and your email for any updates from the court, and I don't get any. I said, no matter how much I know, no matter how much I learn, they'll always change the rules. Always change the rules in their favor, in the interest of the bar, not in the public interest, thus under the color of law. Seriously, you got to file a motion to be heard? To be heard? All right, people. I just got back from court a little while ago, and I thought that was just totally ridiculous. Because the judge already denied my right to be heard. And there's no way she's going to grant that. And I was listening to her in another case, saying that somebody's got to file a motion before she'll hear evidence, and whoa. All right. You have a good night. May your Creator always be with you and rain many blessings. I wish you a long life and good health. Thank you and good night.